Hello, beautiful soul. It's your show host, Regina Huber from Transform Your Performance with the same website, transformyourperformance.com. And this week, I'm welcoming you from Las Vegas, Nevada, United States. If we met before today, you probably know that I'm a passionate nomad with a business based in New York City and always up for traveling and passionate about traveling. So expect to see me in different locations as we move along in the journey of the show together. In fact, in the past 3 weeks, I've now been in 7 states. Can you imagine? My eclectic life and experience on 5 continents has allowed me to become a multicultural and multilingual transformational leadership coach and inspirational speaker. And because I have seen so much amazing, sparkling brilliance in women all over the world, I have made it my mission for this show and all its episodes to inspire you to ignite a fire wherever your path leads you. Really move up that light dimmer and shine your brightest light into the world so you can increase your income, your influence, and your impact, which leads to a more fulfilled life. This show is titled, What's Your Spark? And it's about how you can show up more powerfully in business and in leadership and sparkle your unique leader brilliance out to the world. Beam like a dazzling star with it. Shine with such a bright spark that people have to put on their sunglasses when they look at you. And as always, when I say in leadership, this means leadership in any capacity. You don't need a leadership position to be a leader. Leadership doesn't come with a position anyway, ladies. Leadership is an attitude, it's a mindset, and it starts with self-leadership. Effective self-leadership and leadership of others require a certain mindset. I just said that, right? And that's why we are here to talk, what we're here to talk about today. Our mysterious mind and its incredible power, and more specifically about a self-empowering mindset. So if you have watched previous shows, you may remember that self-empowering mindset and heart set is one of the 4 pillars of my signature coaching framework, Powerful Leadership Transformation. In fact, it's pillar number 1 of 4. Let me share my screen so I can show this to you again and remind you. This is the Powerful Leadership Transformation coaching framework I have created, and it does consist of 4 pillars. The first one is self-empowering mindset and heart set, as you can see. The second is distinctive uniqueness. The third is body and energy conscious presence. And the 4th is inspired and effective action. And I promise that we will cover all 4 as we move along in these episodes together. So today we will be specifically focusing on mindset. And I promise I'll do a future show on heart set as well, because it's connected to mindset, and it's really the other 50% we need to look at. If we only focus on mindset, we miss out on that other 50% of intelligence and specifically our unique wisdom that we have gathered and that is available for us in our heart. If we want great results, we need to balance intellect and intuition to get them to work together. Intellect being more the mind piece and intuition being the heart piece. But before we dive into mindset today, as always, grab your notepad or journal to take notes. I always like to take a ton of notes when I go to an event or when I listen to shows. I was just at a 2-day event here in Las Vegas, and I have half a journal full of notes, because when we write our ideas down, that's when we can remember them better. And we have so many inspiring shows on winwinwomen.com. But if you only listen in with one ear and then go back to your routine, you may just forget about all you have learned and all the inspiration you have picked up. And it's so easy to fall back into that routine and forget about it all, right? So it's really my intention for you to help you increase your success every single week and to really take action on these shows. And that's where your notes come in. So don't just listen and forget, or even just jot down notes and put them in a corner. You want a dedicated journal so you can observe the progress you're making through this content and the content of other shows. It's often subtle at first, but it adds up over time. So come back to future shows and see your miracles unfold, whether you're very advanced in your career or whether you're just starting out, doesn't matter. For all of us, there's always a next higher level. And even if you are hearing what you're hearing here today is not new to you, take it as a reminder to upgrade your mindset to a self-empowering mindset. Yeah, because no one can empower you but yourself. It's really important to remember that. You know, we so often hear about women empowerment, but that's a really arrogant term if you really think about it. You don't need to be empowered. You are already powerful. We all are. We just need to be aware of this fact, and we need to connect to our inner power and use this power, use our resources and our talents in a conscious way. We must know how to connect with our inner power. And I'll talk more about that next month, or as soon as we're done with the mindset topic, because I have so many ideas for so many episodes about that topic that I'm not quite sure when we're going to get to that other topic, but we will, I promise you. And that's when we will go into pillar number 3 of my Powerful Leadership Transformation framework, and that is body and energy conscious presence. As mentioned earlier, today I want to focus on another specific aspect of self-empowerment, and they are of course all related, but that's our mindset. It's a self-empowering mindset. Yes. So lots of people talk about mindset. You've probably heard them, but often in a very superficial way. Yeah. It's important to remind ourselves that our subconscious accounts for about 95% or even over 95% of our behavior. Over 95% of our behavior is driven by our subconscious mind. Vera Birkenbiel, a German lecturer and a brilliant one too, said, if you compare the subconscious to the conscious, the subconscious is about 7 miles, while the conscious is about an inch. So we think we're in control, but oftentimes we are really not. What's in control is our subconscious programming, and it often overrides our conscious decisions and intentions. We could think of our subconscious as a computer script that has been filled up with all this stuff, a bunch of data from our own experiences, whether in this lifetime or in other lifetimes, whatever your beliefs are about that, right? Data from our ancestors' experiences even. We inherit all this stuff in our genes. And we also continuously pick up ideas and beliefs and whatnot from the collective unconscious, from the world that surrounds us. Yes. And this computer script with all this stuff, as I call it, is constantly running in the background, and it pretty much keeps us on autopilot. And depending on how it's programmed, it may be slowing down your success, despite all your hard work. Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. See, we think about 70 to 80,000 thoughts a day. That's a lot, right? And what percentage of that do you think is repetitive? Well, some of you may know because you heard it before, or some of you might have guessed it. 90% of our thoughts are repetitive. 90% of our thoughts today are of the same nature as our thoughts the day before. This means if you observe your thoughts and thought patterns, it shouldn't be too hard to capture some of these thought patterns so you can change them if necessary, some of those limiting thought patterns, as we call them. And really evaluate if it could be beneficial to you to change them. Not all of them are limiting, of course, but many of those we usually repeat day in and day out are, and they keep us smaller than we really are. Now, what it takes to change that is to become the observers of our thoughts. We must become deliberate observers and deliberate thinkers, because when you change the way you think, you will change your life. That's because when we change our thinking, we change our habits, and our habits determine our outcomes, of course. So if you want to run the show of your life, and if you want your subconscious to be your servant rather than your master, and to work for you rather than against you, you must uncover limiting subconscious scripts. You must uncover your patterns, and you must learn how to change your programming to get rid of those viruses that we have in our minds, because you may need to, may just need to upgrade to a more empowering mindset, or we could say you can upgrade your mental software. Why do we want to upgrade our programming? Well, because when we upgrade our subconscious programming, then we more consciously can create the career we want, the business we want, the success we want, and the life we want. And that's what will allow us to implement our vision and to live our dream. Because the truth is, we can work really, really hard, but still never achieve our dream. And we know a lot of people who work really hard in our circle, don't we? And who have not achieved what they really wanted. Yeah, or they have maybe dismissed that dream even. Or it could be the other way around. We could work much less and achieve our dream more easily, as we like to say sometimes, with ease and grace. And the choice is really ours, but it does require a bit of mental work. And most importantly, continuous awareness and discipline, repetition. Because any thought you put out into the universe immediately transmutes into form in some way. It's important to remember, right? This is a law of perpetual transmutation. It's the basis of all creation. Just like the law of vibration and the law of attraction, because everything vibrates and moves, everything is energy. And all these universal laws, they constantly work together, whether we realize it or not, and whether we want it or not. Right? And that's how, through visualization and even just through our thoughts and our feelings, we can change our point of attraction. Because our thoughts and our feelings, they carry a certain vibrational frequency. This frequency is what attracts things and people toward us, or repels them and pushes them away from us. You have probably heard the analogy of the radio dial before. If you want to listen to a certain radio station, you need to set the dial to that radio broadcast frequency. That's also how our frequency works as human beings. When we want to attract a certain circumstance or person or object or outcome, we need to set our dial in the right way. And that's why visualization of what we want is so important. In last week's show, I gave you a powerful visualization exercise, and I explained to you how visualization works and why it is so powerful. One of the reasons being that as we reprogram our subconscious through visualization, we change our subconscious filters. Our subconscious filters determine what information we become aware of. Because while the brain can process about 400 billion bits of information per second, if the studies are right, it would be overwhelming for the conscious mind to be aware of it all at the same time, right? So we humans are only aware of about 2,000 bits per second. Which 2,000 bits we are aware of and which we let into our subconscious is determined, into our conscious mind, is determined by our subconscious programming. Because it filters its filters determine which information bits are let into our conscious mind. And when we look at visual processing, for example, our brain can process only about 1% of the information that it takes in. Why? Because specific neurons selectively filter out unimportant visual information. So your subconscious determines what you see. What does that mean? There might be 5 amazing opportunities right in front of your nose, but you don't see them. Or you may only see one of the 5, maybe. As you change your subconscious programming and filters, you now may see more of these opportunities. And I have seen so many of my clients experience this, and I've certainly experienced it myself. So many of my clients when they changed their thoughts and their filters changed, things started shifting and opening up for them. New opportunities started opening up, or rather, they started showing up on their horizon. They might have even been there before, but they hadn't seen them. And so they couldn't even consider them. Even just a committed decision to step on the path of transformation, a committed decision can change your perspective and what your filters allow you to see. But it has to be a committed decision. And of course, visualization helps us to integrate our vision and to experience it as our reality. Yeah. In fact, when we determine our vision, we already created its content in a certain dimension. It's already there now. It's done. It already exists. Yeah. Internalize that, right? We need to remind ourselves of this fact. In fact, it always existed. We just had to ideate it. We had to capture the idea from the collective conscious or unconscious, from that collective consciousness, I should say, and bring it into our vision. As we visualize, we affirm to our subconscious that this is our reality. And that's how we make ourselves believe that we can achieve it. And as we strengthen our self-belief, we get inspired to take action. Inspired action, focused action, the right action that keeps us moving forward and making progress. That's also why I call pillar number 4 of my Powerful Leadership Transformation Framework, inspired and effective action. Because you can take action all day long and all the time, but if it's not inspired by the right mindset, it won't give you the desired results. So you see, all the pillars of my Powerful Leadership Transformation Framework are related and intertwined. They are actually independent. They are actually interdependent. Yes, they play into each other. They are not independent. Yes. So we said visualization affirms to our subconscious that our vision is already our reality, because your subconscious doesn't know the difference between your imagined reality and your physical reality. You could also use affirmations. It's just that not all affirmations always work perfectly. Yeah, it's important to realize that if your affirmation contradicts your subconscious beliefs in a very strong way, then the affirmation may not only be not effective, but even counterproductive. Let me give you an example, a quite obvious one, an extreme one. Let's say you're broke. I'm not implying that you are, of course, but let's just assume, you're broke. And you say an affirmation like, I'm super rich, or an affirmation like, I'm a millionaire. Well, your subconscious will laugh at you and say back, haha, you wish. So if you feel that your affirmation feels very strange to you, that often means it doesn't resonate with your subconscious conditioning or programming, and the contradiction is just too big Yes, it's two polar opposites. And that's not really helpful unless you repeat it so often, unless you do it all day, which we don't have the time for, right? It can, in fact, strengthen the negative programming. So that's really important to know. So observe what those feel like to you. And because you will, and that's actually because you create not what you say, but what you mean. Yeah, it's a big difference. So what you mean is about how you feel about that affirmation you say. Sounds a bit complicated, but once you experiment with it, it becomes quite clear very quickly. What my clients have found helpful in this situation is what I call an empowering what if question. For example, instead of saying, I'm super rich, I could say, what if I could become wealthier? What if I could build up wealth? And always focus on the positive. Yes, we could also call it a positive what if question. I like to call it an empowering what if question. What does such a question do, or what does your mind do with it? Well, when your mind hears this question, it goes, oh, that's a nice possibility. I should go look for ways to make that happen. So your mind automatically searches for an answer to that question, for a solution. Just make sure your what if question is phrased in a positive way. Yeah. What if I fail is not an empowering what if question. Or what if I could move out of debt? Even that is not an empowering what if question, because you're focusing on the debt rather on the wealth that you want to have. What you focus on expands, remember? So really phrase it. Be careful how you phrase your affirmations or your empowering what if questions. Yeah, it has to be phrased in a way that leads you toward your outcome. It's always about what if something good happens, something of your choice. These empowering what if questions inspire a positive outlook, which changes your vibration and elevates what you can attract. And it's now on the lookout for a solution. Your mind is now on the lookout for a solution, yeah, for opportunities. Again, your filters are changing. Isn't that fabulous? I think it's truly magical, in fact, except that it's not hocus pocus magical, right? It's logical magic that we're talking about here. That's why I love my empowering what if questions. Here's some other examples that I wanted to share with you. Every time you say, for example, I can't, turn it around and say, what if I could? Every time you think, I'm not this enough or that enough, like I'm not experienced enough or whatever enough, turn it around into, what if I were experienced enough? What if I could become experienced enough? Or when you think, I don't have the right connections for a certain goal you have, maybe turn that around to, what if I could ask for introductions to these connections? What if I could reach out to them? Because you can. And, these are only examples, the list goes on and you get the idea. So this week, this is my assignment for you. Play with empowering what if questions. Every time you catch yourself saying something like, oh, I can't possibly do this, oh, or this is too much for me, or whatever it is, right? Turn it around into a positive, empowering what if question, and share them with me if you'd like. Now, also feel free to reach out anytime through my website, transformyourperformance.com. You can see all my connection information here. My website is transformyourperformance.com. And I also have a connection website, followregina.com, where if you click on the blue button on the bottom of the page, you can easily sign up for a free Career Accelerator mini course, or else for my mailing list if you prefer. I have a YouTube channel. It's called Regina Huber. And I also am offering a special session at this time still for your vision building, but we could also use it for a specific challenging situation, maybe related to your current mindset, where we can turn a few things around for you so you can play as big as you really are and step into your very big vision, because I know you have that. Okay. Always feel free to reach out through my website, transformyourperformance.com. Yes. And through my YouTube channel. It's filled with free video trainings. And if you'd like some additional inspiration in your inbox every week, as I said, sign up for my mailing list. Expect excellence, excellent resources, and inspiration, because powerful transformation, inspiration will be on its way to your inbox. Just go to followregina.com, scroll down and click on the button that says sign me up, and I'll sign you up. Well, last week, I received an email from one of my readers, one lady in my mailing list community, and it really filled my heart with joy. Here's what she said. I'm going to read it to you. I so enjoy your emails, and I think you are doing such a super job. I just want to acknowledge you for all that you've done and how spectacular I think you are. Now, this is not about validation. I don't really need this validation at this point, but I think for all of us, it's just really a lovely feeling when our efforts are acknowledged, when others see the value of what we put out. I put out so many free resources for you, including this show. Take advantage and really use those resources. No. So if you'd like to get my inspirational messages and practical tips in the form of videos or blogs, go to followregina.com, scroll down on that page and sign up with that blue button that says sign me up. Go to my YouTube, Regina Huber, and subscribe, so you will be notified of new videos. And I'll be so honored to have you in my circle and to serve you. And if you think someone else in your circle might benefit as well, well, send them my way. Send them to that same place, share the link, or let them know about this show. Yes, or both. I'm always here for you, and I have your back. See you next Wednesday, same time, same place, when we'll be taking a deep dive into mindset again, into some specific applications on how you can upgrade to a more self-empowering mindset wherever you are on that journey. And in the meantime, don't let anyone dim your light. Keep shining, sparkle away like a precious pearl, because the world is your oyster. And you are a unique, brilliantly sparkling pearl. But when your shell is closed, we cannot see you. We want to see you. And that's why we are doing this work here together, and so much more. I'll see you next week.